Your Fravel.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker, kia ora tātou. Can I thank my treaty partner, Hone Banks, for allowing me to have this final 5 minutes. Mr. Speaker, in case there's any doubt, we're talking about the marriage definition of marriage amendment bill, and this is not the first time that Maori have encountered controversy around the concept of marriage. Mr. Speaker, in 1888, the Supreme Court of New Zealand made a decision that has been described as doubtful legally and deplorable socially. That doubtful and deplorable decision was to reject the customary marriages that had existed mai rāno, and to assume that the marriage law of England took precedent. In fact, the colonial law from another land was considered of such importance, Mr. Speaker, that the children of Maori customary marriages were now described as illegitimate. Yet so significant was the status of customary marriages amongst our people that they continued to be recognised for the purposes of succession to Māori land until 1951. So, Mr. Speaker, when opponents of this bill criticise a change to the definition of marriage as contravening our sacred traditions, I'd have to say, whose traditions are we talking about? And I want to bring a specific contribution to this House as a proud uri of Ngāti Rangiwewehi Te Arawa Waka, yeah. In 1849, Mr. Speaker, we Maihi Te Rangi Kāke of Ngāti Rangiwewehi shared his knowledge of our atua in a publication called Ngā Tamaarangi. And it's one of those stories I want to bring to the House with me today. You, sir, may well have heard the story about Hine Moa and Tutanekai, a story of love, glorified by Victorian settlers with all the markings of romance. According to tribal law, Hine Moa swam Te Mokoia in the middle of Rotorua to be with her true loved one. Everybody say, oh. Oh. But sir, I'm going to add an extra part to the story and tell you instead about Tutanekai and Tiki. Before he married Hinemoa, Mr. Speaker, Tutanekai had a close male companion, Tiki. In a manuscript by Te Rangi Kaiheke, Tutanekai says to his father, "Ka aroha atu a Tutanekai kia Tiki, ka mea atu kia whakaue, ka mate a hau I te aroha ki taku hoa kia Tiki." Translated, Mr. Speaker, Tutanekai loved Tiki and said to Whakaue, "I am stricken with love for my friend for Tiki." Later, Tutanekai refers to Tiki as taku hoa takatapui. And so, Mr. Speaker, from the wisdom of Ngāti Rangiwewehi, a new word was coined, takatapui, defined in the Dictionary of the Maori Language compiled by the missionary William Williams, 1844, as an intimate companion of the same sex. Mr. Speaker, takatapui is now used universally to describe people who might otherwise be describe themselves as gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual and intersexual. This history is set out by a Māori academic, not of Ngāti Rangiwewe, but nevertheless Dr. Clive Aspin in his analysis of hōkākatanga, Māori sexualities. The research tracked fast forward to the early 2000s with the Māori Sexuality Project undertaken at Auckland University. Many of the respondents, Mr. Speaker, in that research were able to recall examples of their kaumātua and kuia talking about people they knew who had same-sex attraction. These people held traditions of importance and status within their whānau and hapu. According to Dr. Aspin, they were not rejected or marginalised and were considered to be valuable members of their communities. Mr. Speaker, talking about our history, our shared history in Aotearoa, is really important. We all know another painful history of discrimination, of prejudice, of homophobia expressed by other members in this House tonight. Young people in such agony about the way that they live their lives that suicide becomes the only option. People living in fear and shame, scared of the harassment that they've all too often experienced. And some of the lobbying every MP has endured over this last 9 months has shown us the ugliness of stigma that has been hurled at Luasa Wall. Ki taku tuahine, ka nui te mihi ki a koe. And so I urge all of us to think deeply about the universal values of aroha, of commitment, of whakawhanaungatanga, trust, faith and hope, kaupapa tuku iho. Mr. Speaker, as this third reading comes to an end, I think about tamariki and mokopuna who now know that they don't have to hide the fact that there are two mums in their household. That parents who want to know that their son can marry the man of his dreams, and they can be all out and proud on their special day. And for all of our whānau takatapu who celebrate tonight as the day in which history is made, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. His time has expired. Order. I call the Honourable Chester